Sawadee krap. It's the only it's the only word in Thai I know. It's the only Thai word I know. I've been studying this language for a month, and all I know is hello. But in my defense, I've been studying the alphabet, which is impossible, by the way. I found that out yesterday. I tried to learn all of the consonants in one sitting, and that is not gonna happen. There are so many consonants. I believe there are 42 symbols and 22 sounds. And you're probably wondering, why are there more symbols than there are actual sounds in the language? One, I believe a lot of the sounds just kind of disappeared over time as they started merging with other language and as Thai became standardized in Thailand. Secondly, it also has to do with the tone classes. So whenever you write Thai down, each symbol has a class that it belongs to, and that helps you pronounce it when you see it. But yeah, I memorized the tone markers and the vowels. Currently, I am able to write down all of the symbols for the vowels and pronounce them, not correctly, but more or less have an idea of what they're pronounced like, and I can also identify and write down the tones, or the tone markers. And this is 1 month in of me studying 1 hour per week. So I've studied the language for at least a total of 4 hours, and so far I have memorized the vowels and the tone markers. And I know hello, and that's it. Oh, and I also know the tones. I'm gonna look back and I'm just gonna say, what are you doing? Those tone markers were way off. This is my first tonal language. Cut me some slack. So that's kind of where I am with Thai. I also wanted to talk a little bit about expectations in learning a language and how long it takes to learn a language and kind of my philosophy when it comes to learning a language. Because I don't really feel all that embarrassed that I only know one word in Thai, even though I've studied the language for a month. Learning languages is hard. I'm not all that worried about it because I'm in it for the long run. If I continue studying, then I should be able to learn it, especially if I go travel to Thailand. So I'm not expecting to make a whole bunch of progress right away because Thai is so different from English. So when you go off to learn your language, you don't need to put immense pressure on yourself to learn a language as quickly as possible. I think more importantly, it's about enjoying the process and enjoying the milestones that you hit. Like being able to introduce yourself in your target language or have a basic conversation is huge, and you should be celebrating that when you get to that point. You shouldn't be frustrated if you can't get to that point. I understand why you'd be frustrated, but I think people generally underestimate how difficult it is to learn another language that isn't closely related. So this is just a reminder that it's okay to be bad at a language. That's all right. They're hard and it takes a while. If you keep on trying and keep on learning, you will get it. But the process doesn't come like that. It takes a long time. And also, you progress at different rates. For example, I think that not learning Thai will be easier than learning Portuguese, but where I'm at right now, at the beginning, Thai is really, really difficult because I have to memorize all of the characters and learn how to read and learn how to write, but the grammar is very straightforward. They don't even have tenses. And you compare that with Portuguese, and they have insane verb conjugation and a verb tense that doesn't even exist in English. It just really puts into perspective that different stages of learning a language are more difficult than others. I think that one day I may be fluent, but I think it's a lot harder to achieve fluency in a language like Portuguese or French, for example, than it is for Thai. And my reasoning behind this is because French or Portuguese, they have a lot of complex grammar rules that a lot of tonal languages don't have. Further, they have a lot of exceptions. That's why I feel like it'd be very difficult to get fluent in English, because there are so many exceptions in this language and the spelling system's horrendous. I guess I'm not that discouraged with my progress in Thai because I know that the beginning is the hardest part, and once I get a grasp on how the language is structured, most of it is just memorizing words. And granted, that's what it is for most of language learning, is just memorizing all the words, but knowing how the language is set up as is kind of like your backbone. I think I underappreciated it in the past, and now I'm starting to realize if you have that basic understanding and you have an idea of how the language is set up, then you can use that and speak more clearly, and it's easier for other people to understand you when your grammar is quite consistent with native grammar, if that makes sense. So overall, the Thai writing system, kind of complicated. Sometimes writing Thai is a bit of a pain in the butt, but some of the characters are so fun to write with their little swirls and little, I don't know how to explain it, but just writing Thai is so different from writing Roman characters, because Roman characters are quite simple and Thai characters are very complex. So it almost feels more like calligraphy than it does just writing down something. I mean, I guess you could do that with English, particularly with cursive, but there's just something different about the way you write Thai. It's a lot of stop, smooth, circle, smooth, stop kind of motion. It's really neat. It's hard to explain if you don't know Thai or can write Thai, but it's very artistic, and I kind of like it. What else do I have to say about Thai? Trying to make unaspirated consonant sounds is impossible. Not to say I don't like it, but I'm really bad at it, so I don't like it. I like things that are easy for me. In the future, I may come up with some resources for Thai learners, just for those who are just getting started, because it's very overwhelming. Plus, it'd be a good way for me to learn everything that I need to know, because if I can teach it to somebody, that means I must know it. If you are just learning Thai and you want to know some resources, I recommend looking at Banana Thai on YouTube and the Peace Corps lessons about Thai. Most of what I've done is just look at flashcards and write down the script a bunch of times. So I'll share it on screen right now, what I did yesterday to study. I literally just went to the library, found a whiteboard, and then wrote down all of the vowels by memory, all of the tone markers by memory, and I made a list of all of the consonants, the beginning sound, the end sound, and the tone class it belongs to. So I'm just going to repeat that until I ingrain it into my memory, and I can just do it on command, because that means I would know it. And I don't know how to chunk up the Thai consonants because there are so many, but I may just do it in groups of 5, and then groups of 10, and then 20, and then 42. I think that's a good plan, because all 44 Thai consonants, it's a lot to memorize. So if I chunk it, I think it'll be a lot more efficient of a learning process. Maybe I should make a video on chunking. I feel like it's really effective. I think chunking is great for taking in lots of information that would otherwise be overwhelming. But yeah, my goal for next month is to have all of the Thai. Oh, also, Thai Talk with Patty made a video about the Thai script and how it is possible to learn it in a month, which means that learning it in a month is considered to be very challenging. It's also another reason why I'm not too worried about, not a lot of progress right now. Yeah, I think it's a lot more difficult than I initially thought. I mean, I initially thought it's going to be difficult, but I underestimated how complex their writing system is. But my goal for next month is to have the whole Thai alphabet memorized. Hopefully I can do it. I think if I write down 5 consonants each day and memorize 5 consonants each day with the beginning, end sound, and tone class and write it down, then over the course of 30 days, I should be able to memorize all of the consonants. I think it'll go well. I think I'm on track to meet my goal of knowing a few basic words and phrases and understanding the basics of Thai by the end of the year. Oh, that'd be cool to make a video about the 3-year plan to become the 4-year plan to become fluent in any language. Boom! Maybe 5-year or 6-year. Because you think about it, you have the first year understanding the basics of the language, the 2nd year becoming conversational, 3rd year becoming conversational, 4th, 5th, 6th becoming fluent. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. Good luck learning your language. Have a great day. Ciao.